Hey guys, my name is Mark from jazzguitarsons.net and welcome to this quick vlog, this quick introduction to modes. So what I want to do here, I really want to do this vlog in two parts, meaning that at first, if you're not familiar with modes, I will briefly introduce the topic. There's countless free resources online for you to start understanding what modes are, so let me summarize them in one sentence. A mode is a scale. And then of course, going back to a definition, taking a very pragmatic, say Cartesian way of looking at a scale. What is a scale? It's a collection of notes, right? It's a set of certain notes. For instance, I will start with the very boring, very old C major scale. If you count the notes C, D, E, F, G, A, and B, so it's 7 notes. This constitutes a set of tones that are picked out of the chromatic scale of 12 notes that we have. So we pick 7, so more than half out of the scale, and I would say this is a C major scale. Now, what is a mode? A mode is also a collection of tones. There you go. The confusing portion for jazz players that are beginning in improvisation is typically saying, well, if you're telling me, Mark, that the C major scale has these 7 notes and then that the D Dorian, so I'm going to go with a D minor 7, the D Dorian mode has the same 7 notes, but we start on D, E, F, G, A, B, and C. Notice they're the same notes. If you go to a piano, those are the natural notes, the white keys on the piano. So if you're telling me they're the same notes, it means they're the same scale. Well, yes, but actually no. You've seen the meme, right, with the pirate? So here's a point. People say, are you required to begin the mode with a certain note? Here's my favorite analogy to tell you how modes work. It's almost like a solar system. So if you are seeing these 7 notes that we just played in C major, in the context of having the center, so the sun is at the center of the solar system and all the planets, all the notes evolve around it. If you do it against a root C, it will sound like the C major scale. Notice I just held my C here. Feel free to play a C on the piano, or to sometimes I drop down, I won't do in the video, I drop down my string to a C note, or I ask a bass player just hold the C note, all right? So that's a C major scale. Now, if you take the same 7 notes, but you see them in accordance to a D root, so I'm going to use my open D root, and you play the same 7 notes. Now, what happens is almost as if we had a solar system to which now, instead of having the C note in the middle, now our sun, the star at the center, is the D note. So it changes sort of the gravity in which the other notes evolve around it. What I really highly recommend you do is look at the scale and look at where the half steps are happening and what kind of things you hear when there's a half step between E and F. It's 1 fret, right? So you go. Does it have a tension? The other half step you'll find is C to B. When the D note is ringing, so we hear D Dorian, the half steps have a different tendency or a different behavior, a different type of gravity or resolution, because again, in the center of your solar system, you have a different note. So that's what modes are. Basically, it's a scale, it's a collection of notes, and depending on, if you take a C major scale, any of the notes could be the center of the solar system. So you could devise a system where say, well, there are 7 modes that have the same notes as the C major scale. And that would be true. As I was saying in my previous sentence, sorry, coffee just kicked in. It depends on which note is at the center, which one is your sun, that your other notes are evolving around it, all right? So it means that you could create a mode from anything. Any collection of notes, you could say, well, let's reframe that so that other note becomes now the more important one. All right, so on that note, that's it. If you've already been involved with using modes, if you've already been practicing modes or not, you probably know that part, but I like to always come up, it does not negate anything else you've already learned. It's just another reframing or getting a broader perspective on what this is. Now, another broader perspective, now, of course, if you're a beginner, you could stop the video here. Thanks, and subscribe to the channel, because I tend to publish more lessons that are informative. And as I say to people, just subscribe to the channel. You might hear one thing once that will change your playing forever, and it's free. It's on YouTube. So please like and subscribe. Thank you. If you're more advanced, I want to dig into how to create modal vamps. So, of course, if you want something to sound like C major, you could just go and cowboy C. Or you could do a C major 7, or you could do C major 9, or you could do any beautiful voicings that you know that cover C major. A C6-9, right? All of those, they work. But people often ask me, how do you make up a vamp, or sort of a groove, or a small repetitive chord progression that reflects this mode? Can I pick any of the 7 chords in C? Can I take any of those and just play around? It's like, well, yeah, you could, but here's the magic secret recipe that now I'm kicking into more like intermediate gear. So as I said, if you're a beginner, maybe I'm going to lose you here. I'm going to lose some of you. You can still watch and understand. So here's the point. Since a mode contains 7 notes, and we know that a chord, for instance, C major 7, it contains 4 notes. This chord contains C, E, G, and B. Here in this voicing, it's C, G, B, and D, E. What we're missing out of here to fully define the mode, that's sometimes people call it C Ionian. Ionian is really the first mode, the major scale. We're left with 3 notes that are left unsaid, if you will. And those 3 notes are F, A, and D. So basically, this is the D minor triad. So if you play this, and you play the D minor triad, and you keep alternating between the 2 chords, basically what you tell your listeners' ears is that, oh, here's 4 notes, and here's 3 more, and here's the environment. So you don't leave any doubt as to what notes are sounding, what notes are good. If you're thinking modally, like, of course, we're sitting on a single mode at a time. We're not going to different keys. We're not modulating. We're not doing crazy. We're not doing sharp 9s, flat 9s. We're not doing any of that. No blue scales, just pure mode. So a great way to create a mode, thus, is to use the chord that you want to start the mode on, C Ionian, and then the next chord up diatonically. Diatonic meaning within the same key. So you could go something like, I'm going to do in 3/4 because like a 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. That's a modal vamp, fully defining the key of C major. It's pretty boring. It sounds like a car advertisement, right? But it would work. And that you can see Mick Goodrick in the Advancing Guitars that defines, here's how you can create some modal vamps. Now, what if I want to create a vamp on D Dorian, which is the next one? Exactly the same formula. Your D chord, followed by the next chord up in the key. So what do I mean by in the key? Well, D Dorian is the second mode of C major. So I would play these. Ever heard of this one? E minor to D minor? Yeah, that's it, right? So you could, again, doing 5, 4, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, oh, did I mess this up? Anyways, you get the picture. Now I'm in D Dorian, etc., etc., etc. You could do the same thing for a very dark mode, and I'm gonna go like to the deep end of the pool right now. What if you want to create a mode on Locrian, which is like, yeah, yucky. So B minor 7 flat 5 is the 7th chord of the key of C major. 7th chord, I mean C, D, E, F, G, A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's a B, right? So you take that chord, and you take the next chord diatonica. So I will play... maybe like this, like B minor 7 flat 5 like this, followed by this. And what do you do with those? Well, now I was beginner level, and like, here's what a mode is, right? And then if you're sticking through this video up till now, very good job. Again, like and subscribe. Intermediate level, I'll tell you, well, you could compose some vamps that reflect a single mode. Then you can know what's up when you're playing certain Miles Davis tune, like, oh, they're sitting on 1 or 2 chords and it sounds like this thing. Like pretty much like I was doing earlier in the video. I played some sort of an A minor with an F note. I went like, you know, Bill Frisell style for for some reason. Then I played a B flat major. This sounded like A Phrygian, because that would be the third mode of the key of F. So F. So I was alternating between A minor and B flat major. So I was fully immersed in my sort of Phrygian mood. So here's for you advanced players. Create yourself a mood with modal vamp that's alternating between two chords of your choice in the groove of your choice, in the time signature of your choice, and then see if you can improvise on that, only thinking of the linearity of the mode. And that's going to bring so much fresh air to your playing, especially if you do it one string at a time, because then you can see how the melodic tensions within the scale change, because your sun at the center of your solar system is not C anymore, it's something else. So that's what I would encourage you doing. So I'll give you an example of that's a Wayne Shorter song, Speak No Evil. So G, C, C, F. And the chords are as follows: C minor 11, D flat major, C minor, D flat major. So this is ultimately a C Phrygian mode. So it's like, maybe not exactly, but that's how it sounds like. Going up a half step from a minor chord to a major chord sort of sounds like this. So what I'm suggesting for more advanced players, do that, create yourself vamp, improvise on those to outline the different notes, because you say, yeah, oh, look at that. That's still the key of A flat major. It contains the same notes as A flat major, but it revolves around sort of the C being at the center of that universe. Then shed and just by the way, I didn't prepare any of this. I'm just like ad-libbing. So point being, you can do a lot with modes. Just know what the modes are as the first step. The second way is really to understand how to construct modal vamps. There are more than one way to construct those. But then the third thing would be for advanced player to really take a deep dive, explore each mode, and bonus materials. If you are looking into very advanced mode, go and check out the C melodic minor scale. The C melodic minor scale contains the same 7 notes as the C major scale, except the E is flat. And then you could put each of these notes of the C melodic minor scale at the center of your solar system. So the gravity would evolve around the note C, the context of C melodic minor, the note D in the context of C melodic minor. It had these things, they have weird names because they're not really functional. And what about E flat? What about F? So you can sort of take a new perspective in exploring the scale in all sorts of different ways. All right, so on that note, I'm Marc from jazzguitarlessons.net. Improve your jazz guitar playing with a real teacher. Please like and subscribe. And there's plenty more coming on the YouTube channel and on this channel right here and on the blog. So I'll see you soon. Take care.